I have this like 2 minute and 30-second animation on a loop.
Watching 3 hours of moving landscape. We can start with you. What is your 2021 theme?
Or should I explain what a 2021 theme or a theme is for a year?
Yeah, we can break down what a theme is. Do you want to explain it a bit or do you want me to?
Well, you know it better than I do because you've already done it before.
Good. I can explain it. So, a yearly theme is instead of a New Year's resolution, we use a theme. This was developed by the Cortex, the guys at Cortex, so CGB Gray and Mike. I don't know Mike's last name, but Gray and Mike. But they developed a theme system that is and the words that they use is a guiding light, or more of a directional influence is the way they describe it, of the things you want to change over time without setting like fail state type goals where it's I want to lose 10 pounds by whenever. That kind of stuff doesn't psychologically work. And so it's instead of I want to lose 10 pounds, it's year of health to build a new relationship with your health and fitness. And the end product might be you losing 10 pounds. The end product might be you being more physically fit. But the goal isn't I want to get physically fit. It's like I want to change my relationship to this area of my life. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. The reason I want to do the theme this year is because I used to do like New Year's resolutions, and first month I would always just forget about them and then end up not accomplishing what I wanted to do in the first place. So it's a different way of attacking the resolution, but in an overarching theme of the year. So
yeah, that's perfect. Do you have what are things that you've done in the past that you've like resolutions you've tried? Do you remember any? Or are they also forgettable because you never accomplish them?
Yeah, just forgettable.
Forgettable, yeah. All right, so what is your or do you want me to talk about mine first and what I'm going to do in 2021 to get an idea of the way to describe the parts, or do you want to talk about it yourself? Okay. Well, I'm not starting with a whole new theme this year. So I have in front of me my 2020 journal and my new 2021 one, which you also have a 2021 journal now.
I do.
And what do you think about once you get it in your hands? Did it like cause a feeling like, oh my goodness, like here we go, like it's real at all?
I just love the feel and the size, the paper quality.
It's a good journal. It's
the smell.
Thought and effort was definitely put into making this. I like how it's more rigid than years past. Years past it was a little bit more flimsy, and it felt delicate in a way. Like I would always keep it in my like pad folio, but I would make sure it was pressed in something because I always felt like it could bend. But yeah, the new one is it's a nice journal. There's some modifications to the end. We'll talk about how they structured the journal and how it might affect the way you track things if you choose to do any type of daily tracking or any type of tracking at all. So we'll talk about that. But my theme of 2020 and what I'm carrying into 2021 with a slight modification, it was year of maturity. And year of maturity stemmed from me stepping out of I feel like I'm in a very transitional phase of my life. And I'm still deep in that transition, but quickly moving towards to the next area.
Like professionally or personally?
Professionally, well, yeah, kind of personally. And the way that I'm gonna mostly I was thinking professionally rather, like moving out of graduate school into a career and finally taking those steps. But I feel like, I mean, there is no like, hey, now you're an adult moment in your life. That happens different for everyone. And I know many adults still don't feel like they're ready for life. But I mean, though I've looked at the way, like even when does it happen that there's a stark change from I was a little bit more immature, wasn't as thoughtful about the actions and decisions I made to I'm going to put thought and effort into all of the decisions I make, from keeping a sleep schedule to whether or not I'm going to stay on a regular type of fitness plan, whether or not I'm going to like maintain certain relationships with people, like all that stuff. I felt like I was ready for that next like adult stepping moment.
Yeah, I definitely hit that moment later in college because at the beginning I just didn't care too much. Like I met people, but I knew like I might be friends with you, and I realized that if they're there in the end, then I'm obviously gonna want to talk to them after college. That makes sense.
Yeah, you're a much more mature person than I am to have even to notice a difference between the beginning and end of college. Where like at the end of college, I knew that I had my group and I had the people I knew I would care about into the future. But even from that to now, it's even more stark of a difference. Where I mean, I was still. I mean, people. You're an undergrad in college to be an undergrad in college most of the time. So it's good that you were reflective of it earlier on. Because I mean, the fact that I'm making it my yearly theme now at a much older age, uh, shows that it wasn't necessarily a thought of mine the whole way through. The way that I structured my theme of like the year of maturity theme, it was broken up into three sub themes, where maturity was like the guiding decision making tool for them all. But I did year for one of them was focusing on my health and developing a new relationship with how I ate and a new relationship with fitness. Another was focusing on my relationships and the relationships I had with people, and whether or not I wanted to maintain certain friendships, whether or not I wanted to build certain professional relationships, romantic relationships, all of that. I was just more meticulous about that stuff. And then my graduate degree, moving into career space, all that stuff, I was using year of maturity as a guiding force to make sure I got that done in the best way I possibly could. So that it was a three-pronged approach. And we're at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. We're turning the corner, as it were, even though it's not like you step into a new year and you become a new person. Like the joke, the new year, new you.
New year, new me.
Yeah, new year, new me. Like that. It's not true. Like you are the sum of all of your decisions across your life, and it obviously you change as a person, but you're not going to just wake up one day and be a new person. It's something you have to work towards. And one of the biggest things that emerged from this was simply just getting a sleep schedule. I don't know how you are with your sleep schedule. Like, do you have a pretty set sleep wake time?
No, I'm not very good with this sleep schedule, but I will be talking about that in a part of my yearly theme. It's like a component.
Oh, good. Oh, that's cool. Good. Yeah, because in my part of my health one was if I don't get good sleep, I feel lethargic during the day, like most people do, and that was one of my my things was fall asleep at 11, wake up at 7. And I was lucky because of the lockdowns. I didn't have to be somewhere like be to work at 7:30 or something like that. Or I usually everything was pushed back, so it was more like 8:39 somewhere in there. So a 7 o'clock wake up time was fair, but when I have to be up at 6, I'll just shift my time window back. But it's been incredible. Like even when going through the holiday season where you don't care as much about like, oh, I want to be to bed at this exact time. Like you would be tired by the time you're supposed to go to bed, and I'd wake up at 7 every day, and it's great. Uh, and that it feels like a mature thing, and being up and going down and making tea or making coffee or whatever right at 7 instead of like rolling over and seeing like, oh, it's 7:10. I should have been up. Like for some reason my clock is just switched on, which is a great feeling.
Yeah, I haven't reached that point yet.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll talk about in your theme and see if that can be a thing. Do you have any questions about the three sub? Anything about where I like my experience in 2020, or should I just talk about what I want to do in 2021, and then you can ask me if you have any questions about ways to do some of the tracking and stuff.
Well, you talked to me a lot about 2020 already, so we could probably just go into 2021. I don't think the viewers would
Okay.
mind. Very
Would
few.
mind jumping into what we want.
Yeah.
So 2021, I'm not changing the theme. Year of maturity, I like it. It's succinct. It's still applicable to those three areas of my life, I think.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do different though in 2021? So along like those three branches, health, I'm sticking with the health stuff I've been doing. I'm in great shape. I'm still doing the same type of tracking system I used, which was in the theme system journal. There's a tracking method where there's bubbles and there's like a line through the bubble, so you can do like a full bubble, a half bubble, or leave the bubble blank. And so what I do every day is, instead of requiring myself X amount of days a week I have to work out, or I need to be on a super strict schedule, I've realized that, I mean, if you don't feel physically good some days, it's not, for me, it's not smart to push it lifting. It's not smart to push it doing an intense cycling or cardio workout. And so I just take it easier, and I'll give myself a half bubble for that day. And so like a full proper workout is a full bubble, something as simple as like light yoga, a walk, a jog, a short spin on the bike, something like that doesn't really push it, but it still gets you moving. I give myself a half bubble, and then if I don't do anything, which is rare, it's nothing.
You were talking about how you're like in their top shape of your life or physical shape.
Yeah.
How are you? Are you trying to be even more in tip-top shape than you already are, or you just want to keep it consistent?
I want to sustain what I've achieved with. I've noticed that like under the health umbrella of my life, knowing one thing that I have been tracking is that's external to weight, because weight isn't a very good metric for necessarily how healthy you are, especially when you start lifting, because it can kind of distort your number higher than it should be relative to, because I'm not going to do body fat percentage stuff because that's tough. But what I do track is I like tracking my resting heart rate and my blood pressure, which are coupled into diet as well. But it was really cool when I did the beginning of my year of health thing last year. It started in January. I changed my diet and exercise routine, and I just pulled up my resting heart rate that my Apple Watch tracks. It dropped from just below 60, and it plummeted all the way down to, in March, April, I had a resting heart rate of 48.
Wow.
So I dropped by 12. It went straight down. And then in March, it slowly climbed back up, and I was averaging 52 throughout the summer. And then it slowly started to climb back up. And I want to pull that number back down. That's one place I want to do it. But I think that comes certainly with diet as well. But so I guess sustaining and then bringing that number back down.
So you're basically just sustaining your theme from 2020 into 2021, but are you going to add a new theme?
Yeah. So I'm going to take those tracking methods I took from the year of health. I'm going to take all those tracking methods I used and apply them to 2021, continue that. The place that it feels like the theme is really shifting and stepping into a new thing is under that career and professional, like career, professional, ending school segment. That was all of those decisions were really tailored towards completing things that were required for other people rather than required for my own creative desires, like writing or playing music, spending more leisure time on things that are just for me, instead of like, I'm going to commit the time to work on my thesis project now instead of later. I want to apply that same mentality to making creative, or not making creative, but my creative endeavors, whether it be this podcast, whether it be the YouTube channel, and making those videos. I want to take that same mentality of don't put it off. Creativity and like inspiration isn't just going to slap you in the face one day and you just are going to be like, oh, I'm going to be a video making machine. I want to instead I'm going to help foster that by being year of maturity, being mature, and setting up an environment that is going to produce those results. And so that's the biggest pivot, where I've hit a stride in the other departments, and now the outcomes, I'm adding like a fourth branch, and it's my focus towards creative things and really putting effort into them, because I'm like ready to go with a lot of ideas, but now I just need to like get on the horse and start riding.
Yeah, because you've been talking about wanting to do some type of YouTube channel for a while now. So you're finally doing it, which is cool.
It's been a long while, a long, long while. And I feel like I'm most equipped now than ever to do it. And I like where I am in terms of understanding how to convey interesting information to people because of my like educational background and what I've focused on. I feel like I'm like in a spot now where I can be part of I can not be part of that YouTube community, but I understand what goes into making information sound compelling a little bit better than I did from before. And I'm just gonna try to make it happen.
Well, I'm excited for you. Is that all with your theme this year? Or is there more?
That's well I'm it's gonna yeah, it's just gonna be continuing the tracking of the old stuff, relationship wise, and the relationship meaning like friends, family, romantic, etc. Health, still being mature about my decisions career wise, and like keeping with what I did in the past, where I was stayed on top of my what was required of me rather than like letting it build up and then completing, letting it build up, completing. I'm taking that mentality and putting it towards creative stuff, where I'm going to just stay on top of it and lean into it, and don't let myself get bogged down and wait and just procrastinate and put it off. I'm just going to start doing it.
So would you say that last year's theme was more of a drastic change in your life than this year's, considering you're keeping the same theme and adding a little more?
100%, completely. Like last year was a very, very drastic change in the way I operate my life. And I'm very happy with how it turned out, but it was hard at the beginning, especially the diet stuff and the fitness stuff. I've always been rather healthy, but it was like a big shift. But now I'm okay with it. Like I could snap back to that super strict diet again tomorrow, and it wouldn't end me like it did last time. And yeah, you're completely right. Where this is just, I'm going to keep with doing what I'm doing, but I'm just going to add a new step into it, which is focusing on the creative. All right, well, tell me what your 2021 theme is and what you plan on doing.
Well, this is my first year I'm doing a theme. Mine sounds basic, but it will actually be a lot for me. Or the theme is year of productivity. I've like noticed since we're like all at home and whatnot, I'm pushing things off. I'm sitting there, like I could go work on this thing, or I can just watch some Netflix or YouTube, or not do my work, which has been happening a lot. So I don't want that to happen again this year. Because I feel like I'm just wasting my own time when I could be working and bettering myself. So I think the year of productivity really answers like my question of how I'm gonna be more productive. It's just plain and simple theme of productivity.
Yeah, I like it. It's where do you have any tangible things you're gonna try to do or track or work into to what you do?
Yes. First thing is that I'm gonna wake up earlier because I've been usually waking up around 9, which is really late,
Yeah, it's kind of late.
and I want to get to like I'd say 7. If I can go 6:30, that'd be good too. But for now, I'm gonna each week I'm gonna go down 30 minutes and slowly make my way down to 7 o'clock in the morning. And that's one way I can get up, start my day, and get going instead of sitting in bed, going on my phone for 30 minutes, and then rolling out of bed and making breakfast and watching TV. I'm also going to have like a notification, like a reminder that on my phone, I've already started this, but it'll be like productivity. So it reminds me every day at 7 a.m. to stay productive and not like waste my time.
I know what you mean. Where you're like, I'm not wasting my time, but I'm not optimizing my time. Rather,
Yeah, I'm not optimizing my time, and I feel like I'm just letting my life pass me by when I could be getting things done and
you
whatnot.
you sound like an old person. Like my time's dwindling away.
I don't want to waste my youth sitting there inside just watching TV and stuff. I want to get going, do things, and then I can do that watching TV stuff when I'm older. Anyways, but speaking of the TV, I've decided that if I'm going to sit down and watch TV or a TV show or YouTube, a movie, I'm going to try to look for something that I haven't seen before. So I definitely have the habit of just rewatching shows over and over and over again. Yes, it is kind of nice just to throw something on that you've seen before that you don't really have to pay attention to. I might allow that once in a while, but if I'm going to sit down and watch the TV, I'm going to watch something new. That way I don't feel like it will make it feel like I'm not just sitting there wasting my time. A lot of time wasting with me.
I mean, it's gonna help the fact that what Office and Parks and Rec are pulled off of Netflix. So
yes, that is going to help a lot. But I'm also I don't talk very much to other people because I don't like have a lot in common or whatever. So like watching more shows, I'm not doing this just for that. I also want to like, oh, this show was really good. I recommend it. Or if like, oh, you seen this show too?
yeah,
Let's chit chat. Not too much though. There's
sense.
that. Another big one this year because I got a gaming PC, so I've been doing a lot of gaming, way more than I ever have before. I probably game more this year than I have my entire life, which is saying not that much, but it's saying a lot. So I want to. I'm not wasting my time when I'm playing games. If I enjoy it, whatever. I want to still continue playing games. So I've like made a rule. I'm only gonna play games if I'm playing with someone else. Like I'm never gonna hop on and play by myself. Because the people I play with, they don't, or like I game with, they don't live where we live. They live in a different state, so I don't get to see them ever. And this is the only way I can communicate with them and whatnot. So that's going to be one of the rules that I'm going to do for myself. That way I can keep in touch and still play games.
Well, what are you gonna fill this extra time with? You had a good example with the TV that like if you're gonna watch TV, well you're gonna watch it. You're not just gonna like put something on. But what are you gonna do like with your mornings for example? Like if you're up, you have 2 extra hours in the morning. What are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna do something with that time, or are you just gonna?
I am going to every morning with my theme journal write down 1 or 2 tasks. If I have to get something done that day, I'll write it at the top and I'll get it done then. And then I'll have tasks that I could start working on. So it just, because I'm most productive in the morning. That's why I want to wake up earlier. When I was waking up later, I wouldn't start working until in the afternoon, which wasn't good. I'm also going to give more time to my work instead of just rushing through it. So I've learned that I just kind of rush through my work, get it done, and then hop on, watch TV, and just relax. If I'm going to work on something, I want it to be like good work. I don't want it to be mediocre work so I can go do something that won't affect me in the future.
That like hurry up, get through it just so you can relax mentality.
Yes.
That many people are growing up. I feel like that was kind of ingrained in us, the way that like homework was assigned to us and stuff growing up, because it was even in our household, like we're all good students, but you had to, it's like, do your homework so you can go do this. Like it was always a barrier to getting to go do something else.
Yeah.
And it was never like, oh, do your math homework because you're solving puzzles and it's fun. It's like, I know you were a good math student and you really enjoy it, but I mean, did you ever enjoy homework? Most people don't.
No. I would always try finishing my homework at school before I even got home. So then I could just come home and relax and do whatever I wanted.
Do nothing. That's a serious problem. And yeah, and I could see it lingering into our adulthood, where the way that we work as people, I mean, not just you and me, but it's always like the work for the weekend mentality, where I mean, God, that's no way to live. That's not fun. It is not fun.
I know. Most weeks last year in 2020, whenever we got to Friday, I was like, yes, it's Friday, finally. And I don't want to live like that. I want to like go into Monday, be like, wow, it's Monday. I get to go to work. I get to accomplish what I need to accomplish and like enjoy what I'm doing, not dread it like most people do through the entire week, dragging my feet until Friday when I get to leave to go home for the weekend.
Yeah. And that's it's a liberating feeling if you can get to that. I feel like I'm at that spot career-wise, but most of my peers I feel like aren't, and it does make me sad. How are you going to, other than like your daily tasks, are there any other, like, we can talk a little bit more about the structure of the book, if you have any questions about it, but is there any sort of like the bubble tracking?
Well, I'm still going through it a little.
Still going through
my
themes.
You
still have more. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, like a part of my theme, yeah. This one's small, but I feel like it works a lot, or it works well. Just putting on my shoes in the morning. So like when I wake up, I take a shower, like eat, I put on my shoes. I feel like when I put on my shoes, I'm less likely to go sit down on the couch or go lay in my bed because I don't wear shoes when I sit on the couch. I'm like ready to go mentality. Like, oh, let's go do this because I have my shoes on.
That is a genius idea, and I that is hilarious.
That's why I've been wearing my shoe. I've been wearing my shoes for the past few days. I put on my shoes in the morning and I just haven't taken them off all day. And I've sat down at the couch 0 times with my shoes on. The only times I go sit on the couch is at night if we're watching a movie. I'll take off my shoes and go sit down.
That's crazy. I
You
that's
know,
I I might try that. Report back to me on how that goes, because that is actually genius.
it's working right
It
now.
is. I am so ready to.
Plus, with these new Allbirds, it's like you're walking on a carpet all the time.
I really
But
like
they're really
Allbirds.
comfy. It's not like torturous. They're very good.
It's
Not a sponsor.
you're like, yeah, you're like, I am so ready to walk out the door right now if I had to. That's awesome.
Also, working out. I'm going to try working out in the mornings now because I would usually wait until afternoon, which is I'd probably wait until like 11:30 to go work out, and that's just like the middle of my day. That's peak like productive time that I'm putting towards working out, which I could be putting towards other things. And working out in the morning, I would be able to get up, get myself going, get active, and then take a shower, get ready for the day, and just hopefully I will be ready to work at 9 o'clock. Just instead of waking up at 9 o'clock, sitting on my phone for 30 minutes, and eating breakfast at almost 10. That sounds pretty pathetic when I say it out loud.
Well, I mean, you said it. No, that's it.
I know.
That's good. Yeah, that I found that morning time, like as my wake up time's at 7, my alarms are, I think, what, 6:48, and then I like watching. I like GMA, Good Morning America, comes on at right at 7, and so I usually walk out, start my morning beverage, whatever it may be, tea or coffee, and I catch the tail end of local news, and then I see like the beginning of that, which especially, I mean, I don't know if that will continue uh, into 2021 as much, but it really helped, especially like lockdown time. Like I was locked to the news cycle, as many people were, and so it was a way to get me going. Was, oh, if I didn't want to miss the headlines portion, which is like the first 30 seconds, so I'd always be out there by 7.
Yeah. So you were talking about how what am I going to do with all my time? I all this free time I'm going to have to work. I'm going to put more effort into different assignments I get. And then I'm also going to I think this will take the most time is like editing this podcast and helping you with your videos for YouTube, editing those videos, just different things that I wouldn't have done if I wasn't going to be doing this year of productivity. I'd been like, oh well, I'd rather just sit here and do nothing. This, like, I'm producing. It's not like the year of output, it's the year of productivity. So it doesn't have to be like I'm producing something, but this is just one of the things that, or I'm helping produce the videos and podcasts and whatnot. But I'm also like producing a better person or a more disciplined person. So there's a lot of subcategories to my theme.
That's good. So if I'm hearing you right, it's overarching is productivity, but what the production is not necessarily a product, but efficiency, intent, all that sort of stuff. Just making your life better. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think our themes work well together.
Feel like it's helping me give myself worth.
Yeah,
If that makes
adding
sense.
extra value into your life.
Well, I have worth, but just more
Yeah.
worth.
Yes, I know you have worth.
Okay,
That's
good.
really cool.
Just
But
making sure.
yes, I like how our themes kind of go together in the way that we're both. What's one way to yield productivity or channel the maturity aspect that I'm trying to do is what we're doing right now. Is the podcast, is the YouTube. And so if we hold ourselves accountable, like we're an accountability buddy basically, we should have podcasts coming out, and we should have YouTube videos coming out. And that's going to be And we're not giving ourselves a hard set, like we need to have an upload per X amount of time. Like that's I don't like the fail statiness of that, where if we don't achieve it, we'll feel like we failed. But I think the fact that, I mean, it's the beginning of the year, we set up our equipment, we're recording right now. I mean, we're already doing it, and it's a really good feeling. Like I don't know about you, but I was excited for this. So
Yeah, me too. I was excited. I just haven't written in my book yet because we just got them in the mail. But
yeah,
we'll be doing that after this.
It's perfect. Yeah, and the it's scary. It took me a few days to write in my first one because I'm like, once I make a mark, I don't want to. But it's a journal for you, and you're the only one that's ever going to see it or read it. And so even if you make a mistake, cross it out, and fill it back in, I mean, it doesn't matter. So it's great. Well, any last thoughts?
If you don't have a yearly theme, then I suggest you try it out with us.
Yeah,
People. Even if you're listening to this not in January, if you're listening to it in June or some other time, you should still do it.
That's what's so cool about the theme is that they even write it in the they have a little like a forward inside the theme journal, and it's we set an overall idea of how we would like to approach each year or season, and so that you can have a seasonal type thing where it's like, oh, this winter it's going to be winter of health, or this summer it's going to be summer of whatever. Like you can set it to much smaller time bounds. Like we're in our American society, we really like the whole, like the new year it feels like a refresh, and so we just enjoy the new year time. We're all privy to some whimsy in that way. So yeah, and we'll link in the show notes a link to their theme journal and the videos and the video. So CGB Grey had his themes video that he put up on his channel where he describes the themes in a very thorough and clean way. And I think if anyone's interested in doing a theme, I highly recommend it. You should watch that video as well.
Yeah, definitely go check out CGP Grey.
Cool. So
just plugging him right there. Sorry.
Plug to Grey, all of your content.
Just need his credit. Where credit is due.
Him and Mike, they're the ones that set a lot of this stuff in motion in terms of motivating us to want to try to step into this medium, which I'm excited for. But all right, Nick, so go get them and start your year of productivity and start writing in that journal, and I'll continue on my year of maturity.
All right, good luck.
Good luck to you.